I'ma trust the whole damn process for the record, till we breaking records. Reminisce about the past days, now we rise and fly. Journeys to the sky, azimuth inside my grip, always know the way now. Beauty fill my days now, take it day by day. Sound couldn't be prouder, cause you know we alive. Hey.
Hi everyone, welcome to In Process, and welcome to a brand new episode. This is Azimuth Theatre's podcast highlighting the festivals in our city, the folks who make those festivals happen, and the artistry that goes into each festival. Today, we have none other than Ellen Chorley.
Hello!
And before we get started on the festival, I'd love to just start with, do you want to give us a little introduction about who you are?
Sure.
And also how that led you to working at Nextfest.
Yeah, for sure. So, hi, I'm Ellen Chorley. I'm an Edmonton-based theater artist. I work mostly as a playwright and a theater educator and the festival director of Nextfest. If you are listening to this podcast and you can't see me, I am a white cis woman. I'm fat. I have a blonde pixie haircut, and I have gigantic eyelashes that flutter very nicely. I was doing some math to prepare for today.
Okay.
It's a long story. It's many years that I've been involved with Nextfest. My first time involved with Nextfest, I guess I'm aging myself here, I was in grade 11, and it was 2001, June of 2001. Basically what happened was, they didn't have the young companies at the Citadel yet, but they did have sort of an advanced teen acting program called Teen 3, and it was led by Heather Inglis. And, we built this project, as part of the class. It was sort of like a collective creation project. And we kind of wanted to continue working on it. And so, Heather asked Steve Perot, who was the new festival director at the time, I think it was his first or second year, if we could be part of the festival, and he graciously said yes. And so we got to present this show, as part of Nextfest. And, at that time, Nextfest was using this like Pilates studio downtown as part of their a performance venue. Basically, they had some lights, they had speakers, they had pipe and drape, and they transformed a Pilates studio into a theater,
Yeah.
which I love. So we did it there, and I just felt like being part of the festival was such a huge and momentous occasion in my career as an artist, in my life. When you're an artist with Nextfest, you get a t-shirt with your name on it. Mm-hmm. And to have a t-shirt that had Nextfest on it and my name on the back, I was part of it, was so important to me. And I wore it with such pride. I wore it to school. I had these jeans that I ripped up and I put safety pins in, and I was like, I am the picture of cool. I was so cool.
So edgy. But no moderations on the shirt, right?
No. The shirt stayed intact perfectly.
Right.
I did go through a phase years later where we were cutting the shirts a bit, but not that first one. First one, no way. Yeah, no way. Yeah. So that was 2001. And then in 2003 was my first year as an adult artist in Nextfest. And, Steve programmed my play Bohemia Perso, which I had written. And it was such another huge step in my career, because it was sort of the first time, anyone had said oh, you're kind of good at this. You know what I mean? It was the first sort of vote of confidence that I had as a playwright. And also just the first time I was ever paid to be a playwright, which was just huge. It was such a big deal to get a check for doing my art. What? That's amazing. And the people that were in it, it was a two-hander, were David McGuinness, who's an actor in Vancouver now, Laura Brovald, who's an Edmonton actor, and Amy DeFleece, who's an Edmonton director. And so they were at their beginning of their careers too. I think that they had mostly just graduated from the BFA program at the University of Alberta. So I was a little bit younger than them. Just so to see them working on my play was just so huge.
Totally.
Yeah. And then sort of for the next 10 years after that, I was a Nextfest artist, mostly with the nightclubs. We did a lot of experimentation. I also did burlesque for the first time at Nextfest, which is a huge sort of, I guess, channel or avenue of my career.
Totally.
Yeah. And, a lot of roving. So we would play roving characters. We also, before escape rooms were a thing, we sort of did an escape room as part of the nightclub where people had to like have like secret meetings in cars and stuff like that. And we would
Cool.
text them and stuff. Like now it just seems like, oh, that was an escape room, but it was kind of like a little bit before escape rooms were a big thing.
Yeah.
And then in 2013, so 10 years ago, I joined the staff as the high school curator, and I got to, work with all the high school students. And that was amazing. I just loved that. That was like where I was like, oh, this is so amazing. I love doing this work. And then in 2017 was my first year as the festival director. And now I've been doing, this will be my 7th festival this year, 2003.
Lucky number 7.
2023. Lucky number 7.
Yeah.
And I guess I might be number 10 too. I thought last year was my 10-year anniversary on staff, but I think it's actually this year.
All right.
So that's
it's a
kind
big
of like
year.
kind of big year, yeah.
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 Now, because you've been a part of the festival for so long, can you tell us a little bit about like the reason or the impetus for the festival starting, and how it's changed to what it's at today at 2023?
Totally, absolutely. So the reason it started, I went and I talked to the board president, Bradley Moss, who started the festival in 1996. And I was only in grade 6 at the time. So
You would have been there.
And really, there's a couple of reasons. I think that as artists, or actually in any career, there's sort of this like catch-22 where you like need to have experience, but you can't get experience without experience. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And so it's really, really difficult to get experience.
Yeah.
So I think that the idea that Bradley had was to make a place where people could get experience and where people would be invested in early in their careers. I think that he saw the need for folks to, to get a chance to work as an artist so that they could continue to work as an artist. Do you know what I mean? I know a couple of other things were changing in the Edmonton community as well around that time. So, the U of A used to have a playwriting master's program, and they got rid of it.
Right.
So that meant that, we weren't fostering as many young playwrights here in Edmonton. So I think that was another sort of like kind of big thing that was happening on the scene at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. But, so that was sort of the impetus for starting the festival. I believe when it started, it was only 5 days. Absolutely, since 1996, it absolutely has grown. Now we're 11 days. We also do, and obviously there's more artists involved than there were for the earlier years. We also do a little bit more work about skill building and like the business of being an artist now.
Oh, cool.
Because I think that like to be a strong artist, specifically in Edmonton and Alberta, you need to know how to be kind of a business. And so what we do is we have a workshop program, and the workshops are absolutely free for anyone who wants to attend. And the focus of them are about being a working artist, or learning skills to make you a more diverse artist. So we've done things like how to be a voice artist, how to build your portfolio as a visual artist, how to pitch a film. So it's a lot of sort of like the stuff that maybe you didn't get to learn if you went to an art school, or maybe you haven't gone to art school, but you need to know these things. We often do a grant writing workshop, so that's really important because learning how to write grants is really important.
It's important, yeah.
It's a huge part of what we do. Another thing that we're just starting to do in the last 2 years is we're starting to expand our work outside of the festival. So we last year for the first time, and so that was 2021, we presented a play at Fringe, which was really exciting. Cool. It was Amanda Samuelson's play Pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And then this year we're presenting 2 plays at the Edmonton Fringe. One is a musical called What Was Is All. And this play started last year at Nextfest as sort of like a live album, I guess.
Okay.
I went to them and I said, okay, we got a year. You got to write the book. You got to tell us what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's happening. And then we're also having a play by Madison May, who started with the festival as a high school student and is now graduating from the National Theatre School in playwriting. And it's called She, They. And it's about a relationship between a feminist grandmother and their grandchild, and sort of like what feminism means to different generations.
Wow.
And I think that's going to be really exciting too.
Yeah.
So those are going to be as part of our fringe. And then the last thing that we're doing right now is we've started a new program in last year as well, 2021, called our Emerging Assistant Producers Program. And what it does is it brings on folks that are women or non-binary people of color to learn how to be producers. Because as you probably know, in Edmonton specifically, there's sort of two routes to become a producer. You either fund your own work and figure it out, which is the way I did it. And I'm still paying off my credit card years later. Or you pay to go to an arts administration program like Grant McEwen's arts administration program. So kind of either way, you're paying for it.
Yeah.
So we pay these producers to take a program called Producing 101, which is 6 Monday nights on the different areas of producing. And then we place those producers at different festivals in Edmonton. So Skirts of Fire, Found Fest, Fringe, and Nextfest, to be a producer and to oversee a project. And again, they're being paid to do that. So it's just sort of a way for folks to learn, but also be paid to learn as well.
Totally.
So we're really excited about that program. And we've just finished sort of our second cohort of folks in the program this year. And we already have the funding for next year lined up. So that's really exciting.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I think that what the future is looking at is we're just trying to expand what we do throughout the year as well as the 11-day festival.
Yeah. All these things are popping up, like I love the idea that you started in high school and now you have an artist who's this year is going to have a play there who started in like it's kind of this cyclical ways of being.
It really is. It really is. And I think that that's what's really special. And I think that actually this is just Edmonton as a whole. Mm-hmm. But I think that Nextfest also fosters this community of mentorship, right? Yeah. Like I know that I am where I am because I've had such fantastic and thorough mentorship from other artists that are older than me or have more experience than I do. And so to pass that mentorship along, I think is really, really important. Mm-hmm. And okay, here's one more thing that we do at the festival.
Please.
Is we have this one-on-one mentorship program. So you can approach the festival and say, hey, I'm, a visual artist. I'm looking for someone to talk to me about these 3 painting styles and also how to build my portfolio or something. And we'll go, great. Okay, we'll find you someone to talk to you about that, and we'll pay them for their time. So basically, you get an hour with an expert to ask them whatever questions you want. And then, it's just sort of like building mentorships and community and connections as well. So, and often once folks are in the festival for a couple of years, I start putting them on the mentor list. So they're mentoring the next, the younger people who are coming in too. So often, all of a sudden you're kind of a mentor too, because you have information or experience to pass along. So
a question for you is how has the shift into kind of bringing artists and also teaching them the business of theater, because I do think you're right, it's so important to know how to be your own business, especially in Alberta.
Yeah.
How have you seen that change the effect that the festival has on artists?
I think that we see folks in leadership positions maybe earlier than they would be able to take those leadership positions. Another great thing about the festival that, a lot of people talk about when they talk about Nextfest is our nightclub program. So we have these, I guess the way that I explain them is themed pop-up performance parties. So if you've never been to a Nextfest nightclub, you kind of know there's a theme. So you can dress up if you want to. I always dress up because I love costumes. And then you're at a party and you're maybe dancing on the dance floor. You're standing by the bar, or you're hanging out with your friends or whatever. You're on the rooftop patio, and then performances pop up around you. So maybe you're in the elevator. Suddenly you're getting a one-on-one serenade, or a clown is roving through the building, or something like that. So they're very interactive. And so what we do is we bring on young producers to produce those events as well. So they're doing curation as well. And so I think that they learn a lot about that producing at a younger emerging level, and so they're able to sort of get better and better at it as well. I would say it's a lot of like opportunities to like practice something for the first time with the support of the festival, I would say.
Yeah, this is also why I love that we get to have this conversation as well, because I feel like Nextfest has so many of at least the values that we share as well as part of like Azimuth Expands. And I love that like there's this new kind of wave of really wanting to embrace and help the artists that are in the city stay and be able to survive, right?
And I think also as well, that's really interesting what you just said is like, I think that we want the artists to stay here. And I think for a long time, we saw artists go, there isn't enough work here. I got to go to Toronto or Vancouver or even Calgary. And I think that if organizations like Azimuth, like Nextfest can invest in people, can make investments and say like, you're worthy of doing this work and you're worthy of staying here and doing it and we will help you, then they will stay for longer and they'll make the investment of staying here and saying that to other people in 5 years or 10 years. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really important.
It's so nice to see because you are seeing artists stay and do things year after year and seeing their evolve and their growth. And it's so lovely also because then we also start to become a wider community that knows like, I might not know this person, but if I ask you, you might know somebody who can do it.
Absolutely. And actually, I'm really excited that we decided on the guest to be Philip because Philip has a really exciting relationship with Nextfest and they've worked in Nextfest in a lot of different ways. Like they were a backup dancer with you. And, and we tried for a couple of years this like program where artists collaborated through the entire festival and then they performed something at the end of the festival. So Philip did the first year of that. Philip did a main stage show last year. They're doing a nightclub piece this year. So they've been really, and also Philip is an artist in Edmonton who goes and sees everything and invests in other artists, which is great. And so I'm so excited that we're going to get a chance to talk to them a little bit more because, they have that relationship with Nextfest and with the arts community, I think.
Totally. Yeah. Now you've talked about the fact that this might be your 10th year on staff or it was last year. We'll call it this year because why not celebrate an anniversary? Exactly. But do you have like a festival ritual that maybe you've carried from like early on or maybe something that you've developed as you've kind of grown with the festival that you now like do every festival?
I think that one of the things that's really important to me is my staff and artist passes, my staff and artist passes. I've kept all of my passes from all the years.
Oh my goodness.
So I hang them on a doorknob and in my office. And I often will, go back and look at all of them from all the years. Be like, oh, that was this year. That was this year. That was this year. And we didn't have staff passes during our 2 COVID festivals because why would we need them? We weren't having public in the building. So those 2 years we had, Nextfest masks made out of old t-shirts. So I just hang them on a lanyard and those are my staff passes from those years. So I think that like maybe like I feel like as soon as I see the staff pass, I'm like, oh, we're doing this. So we just got them in on Friday and I was like, okay, here we go. and having the staff pass and like having like the honor of like wearing a staff pass and like and knowing that that's going to signal to artists and audiences that I can answer questions and especially if they're coming for the first time, kind of guide them through this gigantic festival, I think is something that's really important to me. And then, more kind of on the like running the festival side, we always do a meeting right before the festival, that we're going to be doing tonight where we just basically talk through every single event in order and go, okay, do we have everything that we need? Does everyone know what they're doing? Where are you going to be? Where am I going to be? How am I supporting this? And I think that's just the way that, so that everyone, there's so many people that work on the festival, we all can kind of know what is going on. So.
And then is there anything that you look forward to year after year, like seeing or being a part of the festival?
I think for me, like I pretty much know everything that's going to happen, but that doesn't mean I've seen the art already. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So like, I know that there's going to be some dance projects coming in from Vancouver and Calgary. I know they're about this, but I haven't actually seen them. So when the festival starts, it's basically my job to see the entire festival. I see everything in the festival. I make myself a schedule so I know where I'm going to be at basically every minute.
Oh my gosh.
And I love it. And so the enjoyment of the festival is so cool and exciting. And often, because we are, working with emerging artists, working with folks who are experimenting in what they want to create, there's lots of really exciting surprises. And I love that. I love experiencing those surprises. And often my mind is just really blown. It's just so exciting. And I think also the energy in the building, because everyone is so excited to be making those experiments happen and getting that opportunity to share it with an audience, it's just the energy is so palpable, and I just love the feeling of that. Like, that's so exciting. So I think those are the things I really, really look forward to. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Aw.
Now, okay, last question, and probably the most important question. But do you have a snack that you like to go to for every year of the festival?
A snack for every year of the festival.
Yeah.
That I eat every year.
Yeah, like, do you have like a snack that you're like, okay, this is my Nextfest snack?
Well, I'm a big Starbucks drinker, so I usually will get like a green tea lemonade every morning and like drink it throughout the day. And then I've been trying more and more to sort of put food in the venue for people to eat. So last year I bought a whole bunch of Lunchables for people to eat.
God, yes.
So that was really fun. Also, we had Terry Nicole, who I think is a good friend of Azimuth. They are our green room supervisor. Because we have so many folks coming in and out of the green room, we have a new position called the green room supervisor that we started last year. And Terry last year made pancakes one morning for everybody. Just pancakes, all day pancakes. And so I guess I'm kind of looking forward to, I'm hoping that they make pancakes again this year. Because that would be really great. So that was really cool. And I guess I usually at some point will deliver Timbits to the tech. So probably Timbits.
Right.
And then also, now that we're back on 124th Street, there's lots of, Duchess is right next door. So
just so close.
It's, I definitely end up there at some point during the festival.
Yeah.
And we have the lot next across the street too. And they have some new businesses there this year too. It looks like a banh mi, Vietnamese sub place, which I'll definitely go check out. I usually end up going to Three Vikings and getting their Saskatoon berry grilled cheese. So like I have a lot of treats. A lot of treats. I definitely treat myself during the festival.
Good. It's important, right?
Yeah,
You're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta keep the energy up. Gotta get your sugar in you.
Oh, pal. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's been so lovely to hear from you. I know I said the last one was the last question, but this is the last question.
Okay.
Is there any kind of surprise or anything you're really excited to offer the audiences for Edmonton this year as part of this year's festival?
Okay, I mean, it's very hard to pick stuff. And I also often say to folks, people are like, what should I see at Nextfest? I'm like, well, what do you like? Like, do you like comedy? I have a show for you. Do you like spoken word poetry? I have a show for you. Do you like drag? Well, okay. I'm just noticing that it looks like you have a Scooby-Doo.
I do.
Okay, so I'm going to say something else after this, but I do want to tell you that they've built a drag play called The Misquery of the Missing Wig, Deadliest Snatch.
Oh my God.
And it's so I think there's 15 drag performers on stage. So they have the entire Scooby-Doo gang all in drag. And then Wanda's wig gets snatched. And so they have to investigate who snatched the wig. So they go around Slaysville to visit all the villains. So they visit Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Lord Farquaad.
Oh my God, yeah.
The Grinch. And it is I was like, this Grinch number is some of the best drag I've ever seen. And I don't know how to feel like, are you mean or are you sexy? Like, I don't know. It's so good. So if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo, this is the show, and you like drag, go see that show. And it has a lot of emerging drag performers, which is really exciting. People that are, within the first 2 years of doing drag in Edmonton. So that's really exciting.
I'm literally going to buy my ticket as soon as we're done.
Come. You're going to love it. But another thing I kind of want to shout out, which I think is going to be really interesting for audiences, and I'm really excited because it feels like it's a very big experiment.
Okay.
Is a project called Good Grief, and it's by Claudia Coulee, who's been a playwright with the festival before. But what this project is Claudia is going to lay with a pillow in our rehearsal hall for like 2-hour stints. And if you like, you can come in and just watch, or you can come in and lay beside her and you can hold hands. And the project is going to be about investigating loneliness through COVID and the idea of grief. And I don't think she knows what's going to happen. And I don't think I know what's going to happen. And they'll be front of house there, so like they'll only touch hands, and it'll be like very consensual. I'm not worried about that at all. But I just think I'm anticipating that when I go and do it, I'm going to have some feelings.
Yeah.
And I think that I'll be really excited to talk to Claudia after the experience, because she does it, I think, 7 times throughout the festival, and it's free. So if you're like looking for a free thing to do at the festival, you can come do Good Grief. And I just think I'm really excited to hear from her what that experience is going to be like, and what kind of experiences she's going to have one-on-one with people, or one-on-one with people watching, or if people are scared to do it, or if they're really excited to do it. Like, what's that going to be like? Totally. And I feel like it's very Nextfest because it's so experimental. I'm anticipating I'm going to have some feelings. Yeah. And so I'm excited about that.
That sounds so cool. I'm thinking back earlier to when you were talking about roving. Yeah. It's kind of the opposite, right? Because you're putting the onus on the audience to be a part. Yeah. As opposed to like the audience walking in, like somebody coming up to you and making like, Yeah. I'm very intrigued by this one. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'll just lay down beside her and then like things will spill out of my mouth. You know, like things I don't intend to tell her. Yeah. I'm really interested about it. So I'm excited. I love that she doesn't know what's going to happen. I also love that her load-in was 2 pillows. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are my 2 pillows.
Best load-in ever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's going to be really exciting. But so there's sort of some sort of more experimental stuff happening. But there's also lots of like more traditional sort of theater experiences. We're going to do an outdoor music event that's free at Helen Nolan Park on 124th Street. So again, if you're looking for a free event, that's a free event for you outdoors. Opening night, we're going to have acrobats from Velocity Complex. They're an acrobat troupe. All under 18 that perform in Edmonton. So they're going to come do opening night, which is also a free event. Yeah. I'm just like, I think there's really something for anyone. If you like sort of traditionally sitting in a dark theater and experiencing dance or theater or comedy or clown or poetry, there's definitely stuff for you there. There's also ways to, party and, dress up and experience stuff. There's also visual art on the wall. So if you just want to come and look at stuff, there's beautiful visual art. So really I really truly think that there's something for everyone at Nextfest to experience in some way.
I'm so excited to take in this year.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, we're excited to have you.
For the folks listening, where can they find all this information?
Great. Yeah, absolutely. So the festival runs June 1st to the 11th this year. Mostly the festival is at the Roxy, which is on 124th Street. It's the theater that burnt down in 2015 and now has been rebuilt, and it is beautiful and lovely. You can find all of our information on www.nextfest.ca. And you can book tickets at theaternetwork.ca, www.theater with an R-E, network.ca, and tickets will be there, but they link to each other. So if you go to nextfest.ca, you'll find us. You can also follow us online. Our socials are Nextfest Arts Co. I don't know how much we use Twitter anymore. I don't know if anyone uses Twitter anymore. Yeah. But we're on Instagram and we share lots of images, and also all of our artists will send us their images and we post them, so you get a really good idea of what's happening at the festival on Instagram or on Facebook too, where we have Facebook events and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of how you can find out. And also a really good thing to do if you're like, I really want to check this out, I don't know how much I can see. We have free festival programs. We've put them all over the city of Edmonton. And also they're at the venue at the Roxy. So you can pick up a festival program. It has a schedule right in it. So you can go, okay, I want to see this, and I want to see this, I want to see this. Or I want to plan a day here or something like that. So that's a great way to do it too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, pal.
Thanks for having
Thank you.
me. Oh, that was such a great chat.
Yeah, it was so nice to sit down and chat with you.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for listening. As always, thank you to Canada Council for the Arts for the original funding of this whole project. Thank you to Edmonton Heritage Council for the festival series funding. Thank you to our beautiful guest, Nextfest Festival. Thank you to Judah Truong, who is filling in for Selena. Thank you to Oscar Derkx, our editor. Thank you to Azimuth Theatre, the Playhouse. And as always, thank you to Treaty 6, to amiskwacîwâskahikan, for everything that you do for us here in this city and for allowing us to become the festival city. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Hey, pal.
Enjoying the conversation? Traversing the Azimuth is a brand new branch of Azimuth Theatre, aimed at connecting artists with a wider community, deepening mutual understanding, and getting to share each artist's process and journey.
You can help out by going to azimuththeatre.com/sponsorship. Your sponsorship will go straight into paying more artists to come and share what it means for them to be proudly in process.
For more information on Traversing the Azimuth, go to azimuththeatre.com/traversing.